Welcome to the ztC Edge Initial Deployment Training Module. In this training module, we'll walk through the steps required to successfully deploy your ztC Edge 100i system. Here you'll see a typical ztC Edge 100i environment where there are two nodes, a blue cable directly connected to the ztC Edge private or Priv0 network, a yellow cable directly connected to the ztC Edge A-Links network, two network cables, one for each node, plugged into the P1 network connector going out to your local area network for management of the ztC Edge system, and optionally, a cable in each node going out to your network from port P2 for network expansion. Both nodes will be connected to power, preferably each connection going to a separate power source, a monitor connected for viewing the deployment process, and a keyboard for entering information during the deployment. Please note that this shows a tabletop deployment. Your ztC Edge system ships with DIN rail and wall mount kits, providing you with the flexibility of setting up your system in a manner that best suits your environment. Let's now walk through the process of initially deploying your ztC Edge 100i environment. The deployment steps covered in this training module are also included in the quick deployment guide that ships with your system. The guide provides you with the 6 steps necessary to successfully deploy your environment. We'll now cover these 6 deployment steps. Step 1 is to connect the keyboard, monitor, and power to one of the nodes. In this example, we've connected the monitor, keyboard, and power to one of the nodes. In step 2, the node should automatically power on once power has been applied. If it does not, press the power button and then watch the monitor. When the monitor screen displays instructions, press the 1 key to deploy the first node. You'll next see a message stating, "Continuing as first node." The next screen instructs you to select the method to configure the P1 or private network address of this node. Use the Tab, Arrow, or Escape key to select one of the following. Automatic configuration via DHCP, which is the default selection. Select this method to configure P1 as a dynamic IP configuration. Manual configuration static address. Select this method to manually provide IP addresses for P1. When selecting manual configuration, a dialog box appears for you to enter these values, which you'll obtain from your network administrator. The values you need to supply are the IP address for this node, the subnet mask for this node, and a default gateway, which is optional. If you enter invalid information, the dialog box redisplays until you enter valid information. Use the Tab key to navigate to OK or back, and then press Enter. A confirmation dialog box appears. Use the arrow keys or Tab key to navigate to Save, which is the default, to save the displayed values, or to navigate to Back to return to the previous window. Then press Enter. If you save the values, a blue screen appears for several seconds. Then you'll see a message in the lower left corner of the screen stating, "All settings confirmed, processing." We'll now continue on to step 3. A message to unpack the second node appears. Follow the messages on the screen, which also instruct you to connect the blue and yellow network cables and to power on the second node. We'll first connect the cables to the first node. Notice the ports on the ztC Edge node are clearly labeled. The private network port is blue in color and has a single white dot. The A-Link port is yellow in color and identified with 2 black dots. The corresponding blue cable that was shipped with the nodes also has a single white dot. Connect the blue cable. The corresponding yellow cable that was shipped with the nodes has 2 black dots. Connect the yellow cable. There are also two additional network ports, P1 and P2. P1 is required as it is used as the ztC Edge's management port. Plug a network cable into port P1 and out to your local network. Port P2 is an optional network and is used for network expansion. Plug in a network cable into port P1 and out to your local network. We'll now connect the cables and power to the second node. The blue cable from the first node directly connects to the blue port on the second node. And the yellow cable from the first node directly connects to the yellow port on the second node. Add a network cable to the P1 port on the second node and out to your local area network. Connect power to the second node and power it on. You can now go back to viewing the progress on the monitor. We'll now move on to step 4. After cabling the two nodes, you'll see some networking messages, and then the deployment begins. The screen will display various status messages for up to 15 minutes. The process in this video has been expedited. Step 5 has us gather an IP address that will be used to access the ztC console. Once completed, the screen displays a message to connect to an IP address in the web browser. Please make note of the IP address because it will be used to log on to the ztC Edge console. The monitor connected to the first node displays no more additional prompts. If you configured P1 as the dynamic IP configuration, record its IP address. Note, if you configured incorrect network settings, for example you mistyped an IP address, you can press the 1 key to redeploy the first node and repeat the deployment steps to correct the problem. This completes the ztC Edge initial deployment training module. To continue on with accessing the ztC console and registering your system, please watch the Initially Accessing the ztC Console, Registering Your System training module. Thank you for viewing this module.